Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. This is Ishan Isaac with Ishan on air. We got a lot to cover today. First of all, it's a long weekend here, so happy Memorial Weekend to all of you. Green card holders in the US who are aspiring to be green card holders, they are not only being targeted for deportation by new removal apparatus, but also they cannot obtain their green card now in the US. They have to return to their home countries, whichever country they are from. However, there are some exceptions if there is an economic benefit to the US or national interest, and we'll cover a little bit about it. Trump administration to force foreigners in the US to apply for a green card abroad. That was the news that came out on Friday, May 21st, and then just today, Trump administration and especially the USCIS says H-1B visa workers may not have to leave US to apply. That's good news for them. The counter argument for it that is this considered as the economic benefit? Perhaps. Who knows? The USCIS can inform us and tell us more. And on the other end, is it in the national interest? That's also maybe a different category, perhaps if a US asset, what have you. And then the third point is what would happen to those who are actually American citizens and they are marrying a non US citizen? In those situations, certainly Americans and those who are Americans, they are negatively impacted by this because their fiance or spouse would have to return to the country. So the argument is that the foreigners who are on H-1B program, they are allowed to stay in the country and apply for the US green card. However, the fiance or the spouse or to be, they cannot, even if they are in the country, and the US citizen or the American citizen may have to live with that spouse and subjected to his or her future in this country because they may have a job, they may have a business that they're running, or the families would be apart. So this is where Republicans may have to explain more. GOP and those who are in favor of especially putting American citizens at the other end of this issue. However, the H-1B visa workers who are foreign temporary workers, but because of the pressure and lobbying of corporate America, they are allowed to stay in the US. So that is where Americans, regardless of their political ideology, from Republicans to independents to even Democrats, these are common sense laws that should be put in place, not the one where the spouse or the fiance of the US citizen may have to return to his or her country, but a foreign worker can stay in the country because it's in the economic benefit of the US. So this is where the balance needs to occur properly. And this is what the political analysts and economic analysts, they're also talking about it because there would be an impact to US citizens who will find their spouse or fiance that they may have to return because otherwise she may or he may never be with the U.S. citizen because they cannot apply for the U.S. green card. Trump administration to require most immigrants seeking green cards to leave the U.S. first. So this was also reported by CBS News, AP News, and others. And then obviously we're going to talk more in our Urdu and Hindi version later in the program. BBC reported obviously, and then this whole news about Islamophobia, which by the way is a political term made up by political pundits and political people and politicians, and this is where we gotta and I'll take your calls later in the program. Where are we going to have and when are we going to have a serious debate about hate, and that hate could be against any religion? In this particular situation, the San Diego mosque, which was attacked, suspect's mother even warned police of missing guns before mosque attack, and then obviously the same news, San Diego mosque was attacking the reports of Islamophobia. Whenever phobia is a very negative term, phobia means fear. That's basically what it is, or something with so much fear that you certainly become so, I guess, irrational that you may find yourself on the other side of the aggressor, and you may want to preemptively take action or take law into your hands. It's actually terrorism. This person obviously has been very well received. Amin Abdullah, he was that security guard. He left his family members, 8 children. Obviously, they are no longer. Obviously, have a father, and our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family and other victims. Now, here is the issue. Um, at the end of the day, we have to take a step back in terms of having a very serious debate about why are we using the same old terms when it comes to terrorism. We call it something else when we want to, and politicians are great at this, and then we want to call it something else when it's still terrorism. And this is where the assault took place on Monday, and I don't want to go into detail because most of the information has already come out, and mother's warning to witness account to landscaper fired on, close to that Islamic Center, and then growing attacks. Extra deployments, obviously, in different centers and in California and elsewhere across the country because Eid al-Adha is being celebrated this week. And I think that many Islamic centers, especially in Houston, Greater Houston area, or even all over the US, instead of building gyms and maybe basketballs just to attract the youth, maybe they have to invest more into security because you cannot live in denial or go with the ostrich approach that put your head in the sand and think that even the hurricane or there's no danger. The danger will always be there, and especially with the hate crimes and with so much misinformation. Now, what no one is talking about is San Diego mass shooters manifesto includes 38 references to mass shooters and 11 references to the quote great replacement unquote conspiracy. This was done by Montclair State University, and this study was also done with the Department of Justice Studies, conducting the initial review of the manifesto posted by the shooters who attacked the Islamic Center of San Diego on May 18, 2026. No one is talking about it. Not even all those so-called community leaders who basically, want to come out and still use the same exact term. Even one mayor, I don't want to name him, we all know who, he also used the same exact term, Islamophobia. There's no such thing as Islamophobia. The reason I say that, because it changes the conversation. When we don't look at resolving the issue, getting to the root cause, then we come up with these terms, oh, it was just a one-off. It's not a one-off. Now, if you read this study, which was done by Montclair State University and with the Department of Justice Studies, they have put all of the San Diego shooters manifesto include 38 references to mass shooters who also posted manifestos, Peyton, Gandron, and Brenton. Who is Brenton? That's Brenton Tarrant. He was the Christchurch mosque shooter that basically killed 51 innocent worshippers at a mosque in Christchurch, New Zealand. And guess what? He's still in communication with everyone. Just wait. And I'll share some more information from BBC and others, how he is in communication with others. It's just mind-boggling. The Great Replacement Conspiracy was mentioned 11 times in the document. The San Diego Mass Shooters Manifesto mimics the form and content of previous extremist attackers' manifestos, particularly Gandron's text, and then content from spaces such as 4chan, I don't know how you pronounce it, but that's how they wrote it, 4chan, and 8kun or kun, 8kun, and fringe extremist sites are integrated, repurposed, and plagiarized throughout the document, in parentheses, consistent with other recent extremist manifestos, parentheses closed. And you can read this, and this is on Montclair State University site. Just Google it as well. And those who are watching me live, you can see it on your screens. And then they go on more in terms of this research. Here is the College of Communication Media and some information about this university, and it's a very legit university, and they have been receiving millions of dollars of grants as well. And also it's a home of NJ, New Jersey Civic Information Consortium, the largest funder of media and journalism in New Jersey, granting more than $10 million over the last 5 years to support independent local media, journalism, and training initiatives. Here is the information which was just reported in April 2026. BBC, Christchurch mass killer loses bid to overturn conviction. And here's the picture, obviously, of this couple, and this lady lost her brother Hussein. The fascinating, and I don't have the right adjective for it, Tarrant was online in various platforms. And just to let you know, he was born in New South Wales. He is not even a New Zealander. He's actually born in Australia, in New South Wales. He moved to New Zealand in 2017, and then a little more about him, that he was active on fringe online forums, and shortly before the attack, he had posted a 74-page quote manifesto unquote outlining his racist views. Now, if anyone who is obviously thinking objectively and literally thinking from a humanity standpoint, why has he been given access to post online, continue to propagate his racist and extremist and literally killing propaganda? And is that how New Zealand want to be known in history when history is written? Yes, because he already done it. It's just unbelievable. So I thought that we need to keep each other informed, and I am again baffled, and it's very, very upsetting that those who call themselves community leaders and those who do politics in the name of religion, they don't even talk about it. They don't even bother to go and research even for 5 minutes, and everything is on your fingertips. So this is what it is. It's not Islamophobia. This is racism. This is hatred. This is terrorism. But don't call something what it is not. And then same thing. Then if you call it Islamophobia, then also call it anti-Semitism. That many politicians obviously are linking then Islamophobia with anti-Semitism. Hate is hate at the end of the day. And this is where we got to have a serious thought, from elementary schools to middle schools to high school to all these loners and non-loners and those who are not socially active, and then the families, they need to be involved, and the friends. And at the end of the day, this fella, Tarrant, who is obviously denied his conviction, he is still serving his life sentence in New Zealand, Christchurch, but he is very much out in the open because www, World Wide Web, right? The internet. It's, if you have access, you're not alone. You have already created an alternate reality, and he's posting his manifestos there. So I'm going to stop my commentary here, but I thought that it's important that we gotta have a serious dialogue and discussion about hate, but not about the terms that the political pundits or the politicians or those who want to continue doing politics to divide people just because they can get your votes. And that's basically where I am very upset, in terms of that people are still not waking up. And this is about our country. This is about our homeland. This is about our neighbors. And this is about our all worshiping places, regardless you go to a mosque or a church or a synagogue or a temple or a gurdwara, what have you. So here is some more important information in terms of Reuters. Exclusive: Pakistan deploys jet squadron, thousands of troops to Saudi Arabia during Iran war. And this is another build up to perhaps, hopefully not anytime soon, but maybe to another war, that alliances are taking shape. And Pakistan has deployed 8,000 troops of squadron fighter jets and an air defense system to Saudi Arabia under a mutual defense pact. And now there are talks happening in terms of expanding that pact, because some of the Middle Eastern states, they may want to do it, or maybe under US pressure, they may not want to do it. Pakistan Military and Foreign Office and Saudi Arabia's Government Media Office did not respond to requests for comment on the deployment. So why are we surprised? Obviously, both are very strict police states. They do not have any form of democracy. So no one can even dare to even ask these questions. And even if someone would put something online, on social media, they will get arrested, and no one knows what is this defense pact, who is getting what. And at the end of the day, if you look at the citizens of Pakistan, if you look at the citizens of Saudi Arabia, they are suffering. But no one wants to cover it because obviously it's not part of the political narrative. One of the government sources who has seen the text of confidential defense pact said it provides for the possibility of up to 80,000 Pakistani troops being deployed to Saudi Arabia to help secure the kingdom's borders alongside Saudi forces. So that's basically the key information here. Reuters has reported U.S. Senate advances measure curbing Trump's Iran war powers. So that's good news. Finally, the U.S. Senate advanced a war powers resolution on Tuesday that would end the Iran war unless President Donald Trump obtains congressional authorization, a rare rebuke of the Republican leader 80 days after U.S. and Israeli forces began striking Iran. and this was passed. This resolution was passed 50-47, as 4 of Trump's fellow Republicans voted, with every Democrat but one in favor. 3 Republicans missed the vote. And who is that one? That Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania was the only Democrat to vote against the measure. Republican Rand Paul of Kentucky, Susan Collins of Maine, and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska voted in favor, as did Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, days after he lost his primary to an opponent backed by Trump. And Tim Kaine, Democrat Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, who sponsored for the resolution, said a ceasefire offered Trump an ideal opportunity to make his case to Congress. As the president has said, Tehran has made a new proposal to end the U.S.-Israel war that began on February 28. And you can read more, but the new information that is coming out over the weekend is it will take 30 to 60 days. That's what the Iran's foreign spokesperson Ismail Baghai, he said, with regards to the nuclear stockpile discussion. The first phase is about opening the Strait of Hormuz and not charging any toll. And can we go pre-February 28, 2026? No one knows that. At least they are also agreeing to remove the mines, but they said that Strait of Hormuz will remain in control of Iran. Now, here's another key point, that this will continue to be the chokehold that Iran will continue to have, and then the West will continue to use their pressure. And if they do not resolve this amicably, another war is imminent. USA Today has reported new deal bars IRS from tax orders of Trump, his family, and businesses. So this was major news during the week. $1.7 billion of I would say relief that will be provided to those who may feel that they have been unfairly treated by IRS. That's basically how many are reading this, but at the same time, some are completely saying that this is taxpayers' money, and this is where taxpayers' money cannot be used like this to help Trump, his organization, and those who may claim and come forward, even those who committed J6 riots, the January 6th insurrection, as many of us continue to recall as one of the black days in America, although some consider it as a revolutionary day. So there are obviously two sides of that argument too. Thomas Massie defeated in GOP primary after attacks from Trump. So he was a 7-term lawmaker, and he basically was ousted finally, and millions of dollars were spent. He was also somebody who had a list of prominent figures when he continued to raise this issue of Epstein documents, and then he campaigned, and he also said that he started this whole election started as an election, and it turned into a movement, unquote. So many are keeping an eye on him, that maybe he could be running for the GOP nomination in 2028 if that happens. And with regards to this whole scenario, he received a lot of money. So in this particular campaign, Galeran versus Massie, $33.1 million were put into this primary campaign, which has become the largest primary campaign in terms of funding. And with 96% of the estimate vote reported, former Navy SEAL Ed Galeran had 54.8 when this was published, boosted by the president's endorsement and deep-pocketed Trump-aligned groups with pro-Israel views, while Massie had 45.2%, according to Associated Press. Controversial ads were there. 33 million was spent on ads in the race, 19 million to boost Galeran, and then compared with almost 14 million for Massie, according to Ad Impact. And Massie became a target this cycle in the wake of his vote against Trump's tax cut and his spending law, as well as his opposition to Trump's tariffs and foreign strikes in Venezuela and Iran. Massie's drive to pass legislation forcing the release of files related to Epstein, a one-time Trump friend, forced Trump to eventually accept signing into law, and further added to tensions. Meanwhile, just as he ran afoul of Trump's MAGA base, Massie's staunchly opposed aid for Israel, which prompted pro-Israel groups to spend heavily to oust him. A lot of people, they talk very ill of AIPAC. They spend millions of dollars. No one else does. So all those people who continue to claim. And this is by in no defense. I'm defending APAC. I'm not taking anyone's side. I'm just being independently objective. If you want to counter APAC, you also need to spend 300, 400, 500 million dollars. And there are a lot of people who have deep pockets. So they have the vision, they have the means, and they do it. And this is where in America, the lobbying will always going to be there. And they use it to the best advantage to their own vision and their agenda. And sometimes that agenda is very well in the open. And this is a classic case where they spent the money and Messi was defeated. So what is wrong here? Well, I tell you, and many of us, we know what's wrong here. That's where the campaign finance reforms need to happen. That's where both parties need to come together. Americans need to come together. And not only that, but also they need to figure out how we need to have a campaign where big donors and millions of dollars cannot be spent where a campaign is hijacked from Americans. That's basically the bottom line. I think everyone knows that. Americans, I firmly believe, will come together on this sooner rather than later in terms of electing the right people who actually represent them, Americans, at both chambers in Washington, D.C. Tulsi Gabbard resigns from Trump cabinet, and this is where he said that, quote, she said, unfortunately, I submit my resignation effective June 30th, 2026. And she wrote, quote, my husband, Abraham, has recently been diagnosed with an extreme rare form of bone cancer, unquote. Our thoughts and prayers are with her, because this is certainly a very sad situation, especially when a family goes through this, regardless of her political leanings and whether people agree with her or they don't agree with her. But she has resigned from her post of Director of National Intelligence, and she will serve until June 30th. Trump's overall disapproval rating is at 64%, and you can see on the screen national economy, and it's dipping, right? It went in terms of terrible from 17% to now 52% in May. From May 2025, terrible only 17% said, and now 52% people say in May 2026, it's 52% terrible. And that's the research by AmericanResearchGroup.com. And Trump job approval rating and job approval in May 2025, it was at 41% approval. And now in May 2026, according to this poll, it's at 31% approval, 64% disapproval. Some say it's close to 70 or 75%. And US tax officials consider adding citizenship question to tax forms. And the Yale Budget Lab estimate lower tax compliance rates among immigrant community could lead to $313 billion lost in federal revenue over the next decade. With that, I would like to thank our key advertisers, Affordable Insurance of Texas, EITinsurance.com. You can go on the web, get your auto insurance code, bundle it with homeowners insurance, business insurance, commercial insurance, homeowners insurance, and also if you have health insurance, just if you have a need, contact them and bundle it with auto and homeowners insurance. Call 713-785-4000. They have decades of credibility and experience. 713-785-4000, or on the web www.aitinsurance.com, and mention my name, that Zishan has sent you. Group Saudi Palace, they have grooms, different outfits like sherwanis, kurtas, and many other great outfits because of Eid and for this festival, and for brides as well, and for men and women, and for children of all age groups. You can also schedule your virtual video tour, 832-267-0065. That's the number where you can call to set up a virtual video tour, 832-267-0065. You can log on groupsaudi.com or visit them at Hillcroft. And ShanghaiTexas.com, they have great offers. You can even call them. They have this buffet. They also have some more specials going on. Visit them, ShanghaiTexas.com. Their number is 713-953-1388, 713-953-1388. They have some more specials. You can call at that number. All you can eat buffet Monday to Friday, vegetarian $12.99, non-veg $14.99, takeout buffet $7.99 per pound, and their number is 713-953-1388. And you can log on to ShanghaiTexas.com, and you can also have your catering orders and get good prices and discounts by mentioning my name. With that, I'm signing off from social media, continuing with Legacy Media, and stay tuned with Big Baller Sports. Thank you.